The Columbus Blue Jackets played to a loss against the Washington Capitals last night, losing in a final score of 2-1 in regulation, so they don't get an overtime point. Dmitry Voronkov scoring his second NHL goal and his fourth NHL point in 5 games. He's certainly having a much more offensively productive start to his NHL career than I anticipated, with him coming in being really anticipated as just a bottom 6 guy with some size and some snarls. So there's definitely use for Dmitry Voronkov. Just didn't think it would come in the form of generating the amount of points that he's gotten, but good for him. Him and Marchenko seem to have a little bit of chemistry from their playing days when they would play for Team Russia, so good for them. You also have Charles Lindgren for Washington just having an amazing game in net, saving a couple of prime chances to keep that game at bay. At first I thought it was, just the usual, the Jackets are making a backup goaltender look like a Vezina candidate again, but Lindgren was actually just amazing in net for Washington, and it's too bad because Elvis Merzlikins had a pretty good game in net for the Jackets as well, saving multiple point-blank chance, like some turnovers that led to some dangerous chances for the Capitals. Elvis able to turn those away after getting a little bit strange goals on him with Tom Wilson having that go off of Werenski's stick, and then the Jackets just absolutely losing Sonny Milano right in front of the net for a tap-in. Nothing Elvis could really do on both of those goals, and he was really solid for the rest of the night. Too bad the Jackets couldn't get some kind of result in that one. But the main storylines after this game came both before and after, with Kent Johnson being sent down to Cleveland and Johnny Gaudreau getting benched for the third period of that game. Working backwards a little bit, Gaudreau looked lost out there against the Capitals, and Pascal Vincent, basically saying that, hey, Johnny, we want to play, we want to ice the players who we think are going to give the Blue Jackets the best chance to win, and that just wasn't Johnny Gaudreau yesterday. And from that standpoint, I think he's correct. Johnny Gaudreau was a little off. He was he wasn't skating all that hard, wasn't getting himself or his teammates in great positions. He was flimsy with the puck. Just not a good game for Johnny Gaudreau. I do wonder if there's something outside of hockey that's kind of nagging at him a little bit, as he was away, I believe, on practice the day before the game with a personal matter, and he didn't take the team flight to DC. I believe he drove to Washington, D.C. for that game, or he arrived separately in either case. So it is very possible that there is some legitimate, out of hockey, real life reason why Johnny Gaudreau isn't as focused as the Jackets would like him to be at the moment. If that is the case, then I do think that the best thing is to just kind of, I don't want to speculate too much on what could possibly be going on in Johnny Gaudreau's life. I'm not like a Twitter dirt sheet or anything. I don't have those kind of crazy sources within the team. So if it is something that's off the ice that's distracting him, I hope whatever it is, whatever it is, I hope it's resolved in a good manner for Johnny Gaudreau. But in the meantime, if he's going to perform like that for the Blue Jackets, then I think that he shouldn't be getting top line ice time if he's not going to produce like a top line player. And while I do think a lot of his lack of point production hasn't been crazy, it hasn't been crazy bad play, last night was definitely really rough for Gaudreau. And as far as Pascal Vincent benching him goes and what that could mean long term, I don't think it has to mean anything as far as his long term outlook with the Blue Jackets. I feel like with Pascal Vincent, we are finally starting to see some actions behind the idea of that this team is going to be held accountable to how they play on the ice. So we saw that early on this year with Damon Severson when he was having a couple of bad turnovers. He got benched for a period and for a little bit for the game there. And Damon Severson has come out on the better end of that. He actually did increase his play. We saw that with Kirill Marchenko, how he got healthy scratched for a couple games. He came back and he scored a goal in his first game back. Looked a bit more dangerous than he had been in last night's game. Someone who came up for Kent Johnson going down was Yegor Chinikov. I thought, even though again he didn't get on the score sheet, I thought he looked fast. He looked a little bit dangerous. We saw that shot that he had. He kind of tested Lindgren a couple of times. But as far as Johnny Gaudreau goes, this is what the results of the accountability that we've been asking for the past couple of years have been, that we just haven't really been getting with Brad Larson, and the accountability that Torch preached, where whoever you are, whatever you make, whatever your status on the team is, you're going to be held to the same standard as everyone else. Johnny Gaudreau very clearly was not living up to that standard on the ice, so he got benched for it. And then on to the Kent Johnson topic, a lot of speculation swirling around with him changing his agent and then getting sent down, and he's been healthy scratched a couple times with the Blue Jackets this season. I feel like this isn't necessarily like a move of, Kent Johnson is unhappy and he and he wants out. I feel like if Kent Johnson truly was disgruntled or unsatisfied and really just wanted to leave the Blue Jackets, he wouldn't have played for the Cleveland Monsters as soon as he did. He got sent down to the AHL and then played on the Monsters the very same night. You felt like if Kent Johnson was really being kind of like sent down against his will, he wouldn't have played that same night if there wasn't a clear plan in place. I feel like with Kent Johnson, we've also seen his on-ice struggles, a bit of a sophomore slump for him after he had a very encouraging 40-point rookie season. It hasn't quite been the same results early on here with Kent Johnson. I do feel like this is a move to get his confidence back. He does have a good amount of assists and points in his time with the AHL. He did have a bit of a rough turnover against the Providence Bruins, but they came back and won that game. So if Kent Johnson could get some top-line minutes, build some confidence back, and get back into the lineup sooner rather than later, I feel like that would definitely be good for Kent Johnson. And we saw this last season when Cole Sillinger was just kind of going through the motions on the ice and he wasn't able to put up that offensive production. And even though he wasn't playing necessarily like the worst hockey in the world, you could tell there was a step back between Cole Sillinger in year 2 from year 1. And he arguably should have been sent down to Cleveland much sooner than he was. I feel like with Kent Johnson, they're not trying to make that mistake again where he just kind of festers in the third line or somewhere in the middle six and doesn't get too much ice time, and he's not building that confidence. He's not seeing those good results. But if you put him on the top line of an AHL team, of a Cleveland Monsters AHL team that has guys like Eric Robinson down there and Trey Fix-Wolanski, who's a good AHL scorer, you put him with those guys and they could really gel and start to bring Kent Johnson's confidence back up. I feel like that this is just a pure development move. I feel like a lot of Jackets fans saw Kent Johnson's struggles and figured, if he's not playing well, he doesn't need waivers. Send him to Cleveland and get his confidence. I think the fact that get his confidence back up, and I do think that the fact that it coincided with his agency change does kind of stoke the fires and the social media speculation just a little bit more than this average move was. Because if you've watched the Blue Jackets play hockey, Kent Johnson has not been necessarily usually a good part of their success. I know Kent Johnson did have a goal off of a face-off early in the season, but as far as his play on the puck has just been not what the Jackets wanted. That's why he did get the healthy scratch to start the year as well. I just think the recent moves that we've seen that do cause some outside noise, I think a lot of that is just, with Johnny Gaudreau, that is the accountability that we've been looking for with, hey, if you're going to perhaps bench a young guy, move him down in the lineup for poor play, then the veterans have to be held to that same standard. And Johnny Gaudreau, he was last night against Washington. He wasn't getting it done, so you get to sit on the bench. And with Kent Johnson, they have some things they want him to improve on down in the AHL. According to Pascal Vincent, they've had a conversation, so they've made it extremely clear why he's being sent down, what the Jackets want him to work on. And if Kent Johnson's able to show that he's able to increase some of that pace of play and produce at a high level in the AHL, as he already has, again, he's put up a good number of points in a small period of time with the Monsters. But I do feel like if he can build that confidence back up, he'll be back in the NHL lineup with a top 6 spot in short order. But again, not a whole lot of discussion on the actual game itself from last night because, again, I feel like it was a lot of just Charles Lindgren being really good. Elvis was solid as well. And for the Jackets, with Johnny Gaudreau not rolling all that well and Patrick Laine still injured, they really do feel like they're missing just that elite edge to push them over the top on some of these scoring chances that they could have really used to try to get another one past Lindgren, who, again, was just having an amazing game for the Capitals. But that's going to do it for this video. I feel like I've rambled on about this long enough. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far into the video, leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed it and you would like to see more like it. You can let me know what you think about some of the moves Pascal Vincent made in the past couple of days down in the comments below. Once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you at the next one.